First time since February. It's been quite some time because I took off for my marathon and for taking care of my new puppy. So that was cool. Which, by the way, my Team Skeet shoot just came out yesterday. So please go check it out. It's with Axel Hayes and Vince Carter directed it, and it was really good. So we got a lot of updates. But first, I'm going to go into the main topic of this video, which is like the cons I've experienced. Because I want to talk about the pros and cons of my job. And I think it's important I go through this because, like, so many people see, I think, extreme sides of the corn industry, of the adult industry and content creation. And like for me, like I really love my job. After this video, I want to do a recorded video of me talking about whether I think OnlyFans or like content creation would ruin a person's life, because like for me, I've found that it's improved my life, but I also gave myself a chance to have a career, like a whole decade, more than a decade, to make sure that I really wanted to do this. I dipped my toes prior in the adult industry so many times as a dancer, as an erotica author before this, and even as an OnlyFans creator for a year before I got into full time adult industry performing and content creation. Um, so I feel like I am probably the slowest mover into the industry that I know. I don't know many people that start as late as I do full time, because for me it was really like part time. But anyways, let's get to the nitty gritty of this video. Then we'll get to updates at the end. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Whoever is in here, I just saw somebody join. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. So with like pros and cons, for me personally, my pros are that I have better time management in this job. Obviously, everybody's different. Not everybody has good time management skills in this job, but the reason for me that it helps that is because I'm so used to working in a structured 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, really, at some of my jobs. And yeah, it it gives me more of flexibility because I can choose when I want to go running, when I, deal with my dog. I can better schedule for her. There's just so much more flexibility for me. Now, I know some people who will take it all the way and like they'll hustle their asses off, which like no shame in working hard, but I'm the type of person I definitely need to balance my like hobbies, my fitness with my career to be able to be happy. And this is a career where I can do that versus me struggling in other careers to find the time to do the things I liked. And now it's like I can not only afford the things I like to do, but I also have the time to do things I like to do. So I love that. I just finished my 12th marathon last week. It was awesome. And it was so much easier in this job because I could take 3 weeks off of my job to go do it versus being in a like traditional office job or a government job, which is where I was. I was with the government before. Anyways, other pros, the money's great. I think what I'm being paid, this is the first job where I feel like I'm being paid fairly. There was always like a pay gap between my other jobs and what I made. So, like, just being in this was way better for my life and career. And then I love seeing the country. I love travel. I think it's so cool I get to travel. That never gets old. It does get old traveling for long periods of times, but like every time I see a new place, Genevieve, she's biting on her leash. Every time I see a new place, I get super excited. Hi, Peter Parker. Hi, Spider Man. I'm doing great. Um, yeah. So, lastly, like I would say the fourth con is I really do get to embrace like my personality in this job. Like I am not always able to like add my creativity into it, especially when there's a script involved or a director that's very specific. However, I feel like I can really be myself in this job. In other industries, I always felt like I was repressing most of who I was. It's not like it's not like I gave a crap about like finance, especially towards the end. At the beginning of my career, I definitely gave a shit about my career, but towards the end, I had been in it for so long, 12 years, that for me, I didn't give a shit anymore. And like my erotic art, my especially my writing, I became really passionate about, and I found love for modeling again, just in a different form because I had modeled from the age of 16 to like 28, not full time, but agency modeling, safe for work stuff. So it made sense. Like all of this was on a very positive trajectory towards this career. Oh, Peter Parker, go check it out. It's actually, if you don't have Kindle or Audible with a free trial, it is free. You get it free, and I kept that deal so that, because for me, the book is not about money. The book is, I just want as many people to read it as possible. So like I've kept the free promotion up there so that, yeah, if you want to download Audible for the first time, you can, and you will get my book free. So yeah. With a free trial. Genevieve, you're being so bad. She's being naughty, guys. Genevieve, come here. Come on. Say hi to the princess. The mascot. The mascot of the Deviant Empire. She is so cute. She is so sweet. She always goes away though. When I shoot, she goes in a crate in another room. No noise, no nothing. Just because too, we can't have like animals walking in the background. It's really annoying. So let's move on to the cons. Cons, hey Peter Parker, perfect question. Shoot's upcoming. Cons. I was supposed to have a shoot tonight. It got canceled, and I'm not gonna name names, but the director got MGen. So really disappointed in that, but at least he told me, he was really nice about it. He comped my hotel room and my travel expenses, so it's not like I wasted that much time and resources. Cons. For me, this is my first con, and the reason why I'm labeling this as my first con is because the con of everybody seeing me naked on the internet's not really a con. I don't really care. Like I don't care. People know who I am. My family knows who I am. My best friends know who I am. I have best friends from my childhood. Literally people who have been in my life for 20 years who know what I'm doing. That's not a fear of mine. So like when I do my next video where I talk about whether or not I think OnlyFans could potentially harm or benefit a young lady, I'll go over this a little bit more, but because I could see for a chick who wants to hide this part of her life, that would be a huge downside. For me, it's not a downside because it doesn't exist as a point. So my first downside is actually that people cancel. And it's not as much of a big deal when you live in a certain place, like you're not really spending travel resources, whatever. Like I'm not spending money traveling if somebody cancels on me in DC or Florida. Here, I'm in New Jersey. As long as I get my hotel comp, my travel comp, my food comp, etc. Again, it's not as big of a deal. It's a huge deal when I go out to the West Coast. People know that I'm only going to be there for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I get a few cancellations, and that sucks. And cancellations, the reasons can range from all sorts of things. It can range from what happened tonight, which is that straight up a director got an STI. Not so fun. I feel sorry for him. That really sucks, but at least he let me know so that we don't shoot. People cancel because of money issues falling through. People cancel because of cold feet. There might be a new producer that thought he wanted to do this, or a new female producer, she thought she wanted to do this, but in reality, they just weren't really committed to the execution of doing a full-on shoot. Yeah, so that's a big con. Like people canceling for me is a huge bummer. At least this trip I have 2 more shoots, so it's not a big deal. I had a third potential shoot, but I feel bad. I'm gonna send this dude's deposit back because this gets me to my second downside, is that you deal with a lot of crappy requests. You deal with a lot of people who, as I said, they think they want to do this but don't, so they cancel on you because they're afraid. Now that fear is not there for me, so I can't relate to it, and I feel sorry for the people that have to deal with it. I empathize in that I understand respecting your family's feelings, and I understand respecting people's opinions and values, but I don't live my life in the dark, so I can't relate to it. But I get it. I get some people, they have different value sets. They want to live in the adult industry and nobody in their personal life know. But for me, like, I don't really give an F. Yeah, Peter. So like when I say people are afraid to shoot, I mean like yeah, they're just like afraid to like publish their shit online and they change their minds last minute. So you'd be surprised. That's one of the more common ones. The STD, STI thing doesn't happen as common. This was actually out of 100, and this would have been my 118th shoot. This was the first time I've had to cancel over somebody getting an STD, which sucks. The director texted me yesterday and was like, "We can't shoot because I have MJ." And I'm like, "All right, I won't say who, um, to keep his privacy." And everybody that's been with him already has been notified. I have not been with him. I would have loved to shoot with him tonight, but it couldn't happen. Um, but yeah, the second thing is like crap requests. And I'm gonna do a separate video on this entirely, and that's how to book me, how to book, or probably I assume my process is very, very similar for other girls. And like I'm not gonna list prices because my rates are private. You have to email me those directly if you're trying to become a producer and you're trying to shoot. However, I will definitely be going through like decorum. Oh, my dog can smell my dog treats. Genevieve, there you go. Just gave her a dog treat. So, yeah, like that's really annoying. I can't tell you how freaking obnoxious that is when people do that. Um, no, Peter Parker, they're not supposed to do that. They're not legally allowed to do that. So like when you deal, that's why the crap request. But see, I do things so specifically, so specifically. That's why I'm going to do an entirely two different videos. One on my opinion on how I think it will impact the adult industry, would impact a girl, whether better for worse. And then another video on how to book us girls and what's the etiquette for it. Because a lot of people approach us overly timid or rude or entitled. I get a lot of people on both sides where it's like I get a lot of people that get mad at me for my rate and they act as if I shouldn't be charging what I charge when it's like that's not how economics works. The one pro that I did, well, pro I did mention was money, but like the pro is I set my rate, and if you're not okay with it, that's tough shit. Then like you won't shoot with me because I am I am not that I'm not in a desperate position. She's so cute. She's a good dog. Want another treat? There you go. There you go. Get your treat. Go lay there. She's so cute. And then yeah, you get people that are like freaking out, and I'll give you guys a rundown. I'll give you guys a rundown, but that's not the correct etiquette. And it's not the correct etiquette to freak out and fawn. Chris Marks is awesome. I love working with him. It's there's just a way to approach us. It's a professional way. So, yeah. Second downside to being in the adult industry is dealing with all of the crappy requests. Um Third con for me would be I would say the lack of planning. There are a lot of people in this industry that do not plan in advance. That drives me absolutely nuts. I am a very type C personality, which is similar to a type A, but type C's are more introverted. I'm not trying to be the leader. Like, I'm very logical and I'm very organized, but I'm an introvert. I'm not an aggressive personality. But I'm very type C. So for me, I like to have my things organized. I like to know details of things in advance, and this industry is just not that industry. Is it something that is enough of an issue that I would consider leaving? No, probably not. I mean, there's only two reasons why I would retire, and that's one if I got injured permanently. Why? She just wants to sit on my lap, so I'm gonna let her sit on my lap. Little Velcro dog. If I got an injury that left me permanently unable to perform, and I would still stay in the industry as like a producer studio. Like I'm never gonna leave fully. I just will eventually transition once I'm of the age or time to transition. And the only other reason would be if the economy just like fucks up. Like right now I'm in a pretty good place and I've been in a pretty good place since the start of my like mainstream career where I can do this full time. But that might not be the case forever, whether it's me, whether it's the economy, whether it's my fans. I can't predict what's going to happen in the future. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, I'm going to stay in it forever. I'm not going to be an adult talent forever. Yeah, I'm married. I'm not going to be an adult talent forever. However, I do want to stay in the industry forever in one capacity or another, and I've already proven that I've stayed in the industry for at least 10 years, um, doing other stuff, or more than that. Technically, like, God, like 14 years, because I was a dancer for the first time when I was 21. She's so cute. Go follow my puppy. She has her own YouTube, Jenny the Wonder Pup. But yeah, I'm gonna do a separate live. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But I do want to do a separate live on how OnlyFans will affect girls' lives for better or for worse. For me, it was for better, but it can be for worse. I'm willing to acknowledge that, and I do want to warn people about, like, yeah, the cons of joining this industry. Yeah, and then after that, I'm probably going to make another video about like how you can book me for a shoot. Because I feel like too many people approach me really awkwardly, and there's just an easier way. All right, well, say goodbye to the deviant mascot and Empress. Isn't she cute? You're so cute. All right, you guys have a lovely, a lovely Saturday night while I deal with this little floof ball. This little floof. Any suggestions? I'll give you guys suggestions. I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna do another video of like how to book a porn talent for a shoot, because as I said, my process is pretty standard, and I feel like a lot of girls have a really similar process. All right, you guys have a good Saturday night. Bye. Bye.